Picture this. You walk into a real high-security jail in Hyderabad right now, you hand over your smartphone, put on a rough prison uniform, eat exactly what the inmates eat, and spend the next 12 to 24 hours living exactly like a prisoner. Voluntarily. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're unpacking a fascinating and honestly highly debated initiative over in Telangana that's got the internet absolutely buzzing. It's called Feel the Jail, and we're going to break down the facts, the history, the psychology, and all the controversy behind it. All right, let's dive right in. And the literal price tag for losing your freedom? It's exactly 1,000 rupees. That is the actual entry fee to become a temporary, voluntary inmate at Telangana's Chanchalguda Central Prison. You are essentially paying the government to strip away your autonomy, all your comforts, and your connection to the outside world. So I gotta ask you right now, would you actually hand over your hard-earned cash just to be locked up? As you can imagine, the internet has had some incredibly funny and fiercely divided reactions to this whole thing. People are actively debating if this is some enlightening educational experience or just a wildly bizarre tourist stunt. But to really figure that out, we need to look at exactly what you're signing up for when you hand over that money. Let's walk through the actual intake process because it is designed to be highly structured and completely visceral. Step 1, you surrender your phone. Boom, you are entirely cut off from the outside world. No scrolling, no texting, zero distractions. Step 2, you change into standard issue khadi prison clothing. And step 3, you step into the actual barracks. From there on out, you're expected to follow the exact same strict daily routine as the real inmates. We're talking waking up super early, cleaning your living space, and doing physical labor like gardening or sweeping the courtyard. This program, known as Jail Anubhavam, or Feel the Jail, officially launched at Chanchalguda on May 13, 2026, and they offer 2 distinct packages. You can do 12 hours for 1,000 rupees, or you can go all in for a full 24-hour overnight stay for 2,000 rupees. Now, you might be wondering who is actually booking this? Well, data shows it's a real mix. Students, corporate groups looking for a totally out-there team-building exercise, families, and just curious adults. It's a completely immersive setup. And believe me, that immersion absolutely extends to mealtime. The crucial point here is that there is zero special treatment. You are eating the authentic prison diet, served exclusively on steel plates. We're talking basic upma for breakfast, and standard rations of roti, dal, rice, and rasam for your main meals. The absolute loss of luxury is literally the core product they are selling here. You're trading in your comfort for a harsh reality check. But here's where the story gets even more interesting. Chanchalguda actually isn't the first to do this. We gotta look back at the original blueprint. Back in 2016, the 222-year-old Sangareddy jail in Telangana launched the very first Feel the Jail program, and it was wildly successful. There were reports of Malaysian tourists flying in and arranging hotel pickups just to go straight to prison. It was wild. And they had this brilliant rule. If the isolation and eating off steel plates got to be too much and you wanted to quit midway, you had to pay a 1,000 rupee fine. It literally forced participants to truly commit to the discomfort. So this isn't just some sudden viral stunt, it's a calculated evolution. Look at the timeline here. Sangareddy was built way back in 1796 during the Nizam era. Fast forward to 2016, it transitioned into a museum and launched that first 24-hour jail experience. Now jumping to 2026, the modern Chanchalguda Central Prison has taken that highly popular heritage initiative and adapted it for an active modern correctional facility. It shows a real long-term commitment by the state to this totally unique form of public engagement. Now, to truly understand why people are flocking to this, we need to introduce a little academic framework. Way back in 1996, professors John Lennon and Malcolm Foley coined the term dark tourism. They defined it as travel driven by a demand for actual or symbolic encounters with death, disaster, or suffering. Prison tourism is a massive subcategory of this. You see, humans just have this deeply ingrained, almost morbid curiosity about the spaces where society locks away its rule breakers. We kind of want to see the suffering, from a safe distance, of course, to better appreciate our own freedom. And, this fascination is absolutely nothing new. For centuries, punishment was actually a public spectacle. But when the modern prison was born and punishment was moved behind high walls and closed doors, it didn't kill the public's curiosity, it actually amplified it. The prison became this arena founded on secrecy. By keeping the reality hidden away, the public's desire to peek behind the curtain only grew stronger. Because of that innate curiosity, India is certainly not alone in this. Dark tourism is a massive worldwide phenomenon. Just look at the Eastern State Penitentiary in the US, which sees massive tourist numbers. Or Alcatraz in California, drawing over 1.5 million visitors every single year. You've got Korosta Prison in Latvia, Fremantle in Australia, Dartmoor Prison in the UK, and Robben Island in South Africa. The commodification of the prison space is a proven global model. But that brings us to a very serious debate.
Section 1. Education versus exploitation.
When you turn a site of real, genuine human suffering into a ticketed experience, you have to ask, where exactly is the ethical line? First, let's look at the official stance. Proponents, including the Telangana Prisons Department, argued that this is a powerful, transparent, educational tool. The goal is to demystify the correctional system. By showing the public the harsh realities, the strict discipline, and that sheer loss of liberty, officials really believe it acts as a powerful deterrent against crime. It also highlights their modern rehabilitation programs. It's basically meant to make you value your freedom. But academics and critics immediately counter this. The Prison Service Journal points out that historically, both inmates and guards have objected to being turned into a, quote, peep show for the mob. Critics argue that paying for a simulated 24-hour stay trivializes the crushing reality of an actual multi-year prison sentence. It can basically turn ongoing human hardship into a trivial spectacle, allowing tourists to just play dress-up without ever facing any of the actual systemic consequences of the justice system. So, there's this massive tension between the lived reality of imprisonment and the packaged tourist version. Academic studies point out that to successfully market these sites, officials have to rely on the 7P marketing strategy, balancing product, price, place, promotion, people, process, and physical evidence. They have to make it engaging enough that people will happily pay 1,000 rupees, but authentic enough that it doesn't romanticize the idea of the celebrity prisoner or gloss over the real pain of incarceration. Honestly, it's an incredibly difficult ethical tightrope to walk. So we have to synthesize this whole debate. Is Feel the Jail really the ultimate deterrent? Does the visceral shock of actually handing over your smartphone, sweeping a dusty courtyard, and eating rasam off a steel plate truly work as a lifelong lesson in lawful conduct? Or is it just a really unique story to tell your friends on a Monday morning? The officials in Hyderabad are betting that the physical experience of confinement, even for just 12 hours, leaves a psychological mark that no textbook ever could. Which brings us right back to you. Now that you know exactly what the experience entails, the history behind it, and the huge global debate surrounding it, would you pay 1,000 rupees to spend 12 or 24 hours in jail? And perhaps more interestingly, who in your life do you think should be forced to go first? Take a second to reflect on that. The concept of freedom is incredibly easy to take for granted until you actively choose to give it up. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the world.